Hey, 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 it's the metal. This is actually the second walk that I'm taking tonight, believe it or not. The first one, down the same road, I took the dog, MJ, for a walk. And mostly, the second one is because I'm both restless and the AC's out. So it's actually hotter inside the house than it is outside. And I figured, while I'm walking around, getting a little bit of exercise, getting that restlessness out of me, I might as well record a video since I'm in shadow right now because a tree is blocking a street lamp. But for most of this walk, with this, my Sony Handycam, which actually deals fairly well in low light, it's actually bright enough out here that I can record at night. It's probably one of the first areas I've lived in quite a while where I can record at night if I wanted to walk around and talk, just because Matlock over here is really, really bright with all of the street lights. You can probably see them behind me going down the major road, going from Mansfield all the way up through Arlington until it recombines with Cooper Street. I actually used to live off of Matlock years ago too. I think it was just as bright up there when I was in Arlington. But that was a long time ago. And everywhere else that I live, it's just too dark. Which I guess you kind of want, right? If you're trying to get to sleep, if you live in a house, you don't want your neighborhood to be super bright. You want the street lamps to just barely light up the road enough that you can see. But you don't want it to peek into your window and blind you like the sun. God. So it's cooler out here than is in the house. It's still pretty hot. I think it's probably 80 degrees. But the 80 degrees right now feels like 60 compared to the fact that it's probably 90 something in the house since the AC's out. Probably going to go to sleep, or try to go to sleep soon. I don't know how successful that will be. It is already close to 2 o'clock, and I have trouble sleeping at night. I am basically nocturnal. But, I don't know, it's pretty rough at the moment. I probably should get my work done while it's slightly cooler, because it's going to get up to 100 later. And there's absolutely nothing I can do to stop that room from getting warm, other than the fact that I've got 3 fans running in there. Oh my god, I feel so sorry for my computer, because I was on a stream earlier, right? And my computer was chugging. I put my hand on it. I could feel it getting hot. I think my video encoding even started skipping and stuff a little bit for the other people who I was on stream with. Oh, I probably would have been better off. No, it wasn't dark enough yet, but if I wanted to use my computer right now, I'd probably be better off unplugging my whole set, moving it outside, and then moving it back in before the sun came up. But I don't want to deal with the bugs in my backyard. Oh. It's just so nice out here. One of the things I was working on, I'm trying to get some prep work done for a game that I think I mentioned it in one of my previous vlogs recently. Hit me. I had the idea for it what was it? 5 days ago? Maybe it was 5 days ago that I might have had the idea for it. But I was sleep deprived, which is usually when I come up with my best ideas, is when I'm sleep deprived. I think I did not sleep for 18 hours at that point. But that's not that bad, if it wasn't for the fact that the sleep before that was only 2 hours. Right. And I think even later that day I had hit past the 24-hour mark. But I had the idea around the 18-hour mark. And I've been wanting to make like a game or a story or something involving dreams for quite a while now. I had an idea for one over almost a year ago, and it didn't happen. The team was a little too big to be reliable, and by that I mean there were more than 2 people in the team, and at my point, if there's more than 2 people, that means somebody's going to flake. Always happens, and we got one pretty much immediately. I think after a month of preparing for stuff, the guy who was going to basically act as like the producer and handle everything just flaked out. And I don't blame him. Life happens, right? He actually had very good reasons for flaking out, but it's just the bigger your team gets, the more likely something like that's going to happen. So this idea, I'm like, what can I do with just 2 people? Me basically doing all of the quote-unquote creative work, which I don't actually like using that term because I do think coding is creative to some degree, because you have to come up with a lot of creative solutions. But the more artistic side of things that people typically think of, assets, writing, character design, things like that, I will handle all of that from like the creative and production end. And I'm doing this with my co-host on the Vomitorium, so he'll be handling basically all of the coding stuff, assuming we get this running, because I want something that should be fairly simple that only 2 people could work on. And then if I really struggle to do the music myself, that's stuff I could get somebody to do later. But that's the last thing to worry about is music, even though every game requires music. But I was in a sleep-deprived state, and I think a sleep-deprived state is probably the best time to be thinking about dreams, because you wish you were having them. And it hit me that I've kind of been wanting to make a couple different things for a while, and I just, in my head, fused them together. I've been wanting to make a gacha game, because, believe it or not, I actually like gacha games. I don't think they have to be awful and manipulative or anything like that. I think if you do things right, they are a very good monetization style, and I would like to do it right. And I also like money, so those 2 things I think overlap really well. I also have been wanting to do a mystery dungeon type game for a while now too. And I was thinking, like, I don't know why these things can't overlap. You could totally do a mystery dungeon type gacha. Anybody could do one. But I wanted it to function to where you could do it either single or multiplayer. So I'm like, well, we could do the roguelike part of the mystery dungeon, where like how the dungeon itself basically gets generated every single time within fixed parameters for that mission. As in, like, the area of the map will be this big, so tiles can randomly be generated within this area. It will always have this many floors for this mission, that type of stuff. But to allow it to work multiplayer, because typical mystery dungeon games, everything moves when the player moves, doesn't really work well. Maybe it could, but with latency, I already foresee a lot of possible problems here. Or even if there weren't, even if you could solve all that part, a lot of frustration when people are trying to think of their next strategic move. Since mystery dungeon games are designed around that too, you could just stay still forever and think about your next move. And then somebody accidentally hits a direction or gets impatient and moves the enemies and screws everyone over. It would probably just be best to have like a traditional tactics style movement, like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, where there's like initiative and people have turns, and I'm sure there's probably a way to where if an enemy isn't visible on the map, and it would move, it can just skip to what it's doing in the background immediately so it can get back around to the players, or if it wouldn't move, it would just pass its turn anyway. There's got to be easy ways of doing that. But I want to make a game that takes place in the dreamscape. And I think, one of the cool things about dreams, or not so cool, I don't know, is that when you try to go back to a place in a dream, you can never quite get to it the same way, and it never quite looks the same. And I was like, oh, that would be like the perfect setting for a mystery dungeon game. Like, thematically, it would work. And I think games should mechanically, visually, and thematically mesh. Like, you shouldn't just look at it from one direction. You should try to intertwine as many aspects of the game together as possible, instead of just be like, well, here's the mechanics I want, and I'm just going to throw any old story on top of it. That's kind of lame. So I want to do that. Involve basically people going into the place where dreams come from, and solving problems, killing nightmares and stuff like that, rescuing people that might be trapped down there. And in a similar vein, I kind of want it to function also like a Persona game, sort of, where, or like Digimon or something like that as well, where you have like the actual like main characters that you're playing, but instead of weapons, they have like these dreams that fight for them, that represent archetypes. And I think it'd be really cool if characters could basically just equip any dream that is their same archetype. And I think that would work well within like the gacha feature of the game. I don't know why I'm explaining this whole game. I just want something to talk about, and I've been wanting to talk to people about it, and I just haven't sat down and talked to anybody about it, really. But I think it'd be a really fun game. And one of the reasons I think it'd be really fun is because the more I started thinking about it, the more I wanted to play it. And I think the best way to do anything, right, if you're going to create literally anything, is you should create something that you would be interested in. And I'm just like, man, if I got this running, I would be playing the shit out of this game. And I'd wanted to make it, though, to where at least the story, the important part, you basically could be free to play, right? You could, I think those are the gacha games that have been great, are the ones that you can just beat the core component of the game free to play, but you want to offer more things on the side. And you also want to encourage people to want to spend money. I think one good way of doing that is by making compelling characters that people want to get, or giving reasonably priced resource packs or things like that, that would be like, hey, I'm not dropping too much money, but I want to support the game. It's actually why I'm actually not against battle passes if battle passes are handled well. It's just that 99% of battle passes aren't handled well. But like some other aspects of the game that'd be cool. One cool thing about Gacha Game 2 is like we could start it small. We could just like make chapter 1 and then people having fun in the middle of the night. But yeah, we could start with chapter 1 and then expand on it slowly, so it's not like too much of a financial like risk or hurdle to start getting it done. But like some other cool things could be like, since the mystery dungeon system's already in there, we could do challenge dungeons or quests similar to the deep dungeon from Final Fantasy XIV. We could do a lot of grinding that way too. I would try to make grinding fun and entertaining. We could obviously have events that happen, because every game does that. You could talk to some people who have some indie IPs that they would like to put their game in, or get their character in the game. Since it is a game that takes place in dreams, canonically, we could have like any reason to have like any character pop up. It's a world of dreams. Maybe somebody read the book and started dreaming about that character or something. Things like that. That'd be fun. Obviously, there should be some form of multiplayer raids and some form of PvP as well. Probably the basic PvP will just be that auto battle type thing. I think that'd probably be best way to go about it, but there should probably be some other live PvP. But that's kind of the game I want to make. I don't know what exactly can go into it. I'm sure we will find that out as we get to it. But I'm going to start making assets around that. Probably make it sprite-based, but I think that'll just be for the... what's it called? Movement, map, stuff like that. I haven't decided whether we're going to do hand-drawn characters for dialogue or not, or if I will hand-draw and then make a large pixel art version of them. It'll match the game more, so that's probably the route we'll go. But, I'm back on my main street. It is too dark for you to see me. There's literally no lights except for like that one all the way over there that you can barely see. So I think it's probably a good time to end this. If you think that's a cool idea, talk about it. Let me know in the comments. If you're Marsupial and watching this, Marsupial Gamer, and you've heard more about what I want from this game, from this video, than me at this point, because we really haven't had time to talk about this. That's cool. Probably should actually just get in a call with you and start talking about things pretty soon, whenever you have time. But I also heard you hadn't played a mystery dungeon game, is what you said. I don't think you have to get what I'm getting down. I could probably explain it, or you could watch a video. Especially because I don't want it to mechanically, like I don't want the players to function like the mystery dungeon. I just want the maps to. So, yeah, let's just talk about it. That might be better than waiting for you to play through Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or Final Fantasy Fables or anything like that. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.